and welcome to D&Q Football. Welcome to AFC World Cup Qualification Round 2 Group F, and to two sides who sadly lost on match day 1. Indonesia predictably losing to Iraq, but a 5-1 scoreline. A little bit higher than potentially some, myself included, thought that one would end up, and the Philippines losing 2-0 at home to Vietnam. A respectable scoreline, again not a massively surprising one. Vietnam, a very, very strong side and tipped to go through second in this group, but one of these sides here today needs to win effectively to keep themselves in with a shout of progressing through to round 3. I think for either side, playing 2, losing 2, being on 0 points when, the group leaders will, either one team will be on 6 and the other on 3, or both sides will be on 4, both sides of course being the winners of match day 1, Iraq and Vietnam, as I've mentioned already. But what about these two sides then? Well, they know each other very well. They play a lot through being based in the same geographical region, of course, AFF, Electric Cups and so on, depending on who's sponsoring it. They've actually played each other a total of 28 times, and I didn't realise just how enormous Indonesia's advantage in those matchups has been. Of course, if you watched our round 2 preview, you'll know that I back Indonesia as a stronger side on paper than the Philippines. And, the stats back me up in that. Of the 28 games that they've played, Indonesia, a whopping 86% win ratio, 22 wins, 4 draws, and only 2 wins for the Philippines, which is why I think potentially it surprised me that the Philippines were the pot 3 side when Indonesia had to compete in round 1, being one of the lowest ranked sides. And indeed, Indonesia ranked 145, the Philippines at 138. So very, very close. And you expect this to be a tight matchup. The last two times that these two sides met each other was, in fact, January of this year. It was in the Philippines, and it was an away win for Indonesia, but only 2-1. And if match day 1 from a Philippines perspective is anything to go off, potentially this will be another tight game. They didn't get battered by Vietnam, 2-0, reasonably steady performance, and I think that they will have to try and make this as close as possible. But why I'm backing Indonesia to win this one, I just feel like the recent step up in quality that we've seen, they've obviously tapped into eligibility, getting players like Baggett and Amat as your centre-back partnership, and the way that they play with the wing-backs. I love Pratama Arhan and the way that he gets forward, and I just feel like they are a subtly better team on paper, although the rankings don't necessarily show that. I think they are in better form holistically across the last couple of years. And I do think that they know winning this game puts them right back in it. They'll expect Iraq to beat Vietnam, although I expect that to be a close game. And then Indonesia will be right up there chasing that second spot, which is, of course, is what they have to aim for. And then knowing that they play Vietnam in the next lot of World Cup qualification games, which obviously for Asia is quite a way away. I think that they'll just go into this with that confidence that they can get back into it. How much has that been hampered by the 5-1 defeat? I'm not too sure. I'm surprised they conceded so many, but perhaps we just have to give props to their opponents in that match day rather than slate them too much. And I think that this will be a close affair, but I have to back Shin Tae-yong's men. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Indonesia in this one. I think it'll be around that 2-1, 3-1 scoreline. Of course, I've already mentioned the last time they met, 2-1 for Indonesia. Could be something similar if the Philippines do in fact manage to score at all. And I think why I'm backing them to score is the fact that Indonesia did concede 5 in match day 1. But this is a huge game for both teams because it is a long time before they play their next international fixtures in World Cup qualification because of Asian Cup and stuff that comes up at the start of 2024. It's arguably a bigger game for the Philippines, not being really a part of that Asian Cup story. And also, Philippines will know that when they come back in the next lot of World Cup qualifiers, they have to play Iraq. They've already played Vietnam, and then after this game, they'd have played Indonesia. those are the two easiest games, despite the fact they're still challenging games. They'll have to play Iraq, and they could get off to just the worst possible start, really, in round 2 of World Cup qualification. But as I say, me, personally, I'm backing Indonesia. I'm backing Shin Tae-yong's men, and I'm predicting a 3-1 win. Get your comments and predictions down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, we'll see you next time.